Hello, wonderful people. It's yet another wonderful day. We are honored to have a guest by the name Abraham, who is a university student and also who has a lot of passionate in politics. Welcome back, Mr. Abraham.
Thank you very much, Bwana Mashera. We are here today, uh, a group of young men full of spirit and the vigor, and I will see um, the courage to stand up and talk about governance. That for a long period of time, we think that the government has been playing a big game on us. So I hope by the end of the session today, you will have grasped a little bit of our perception as young men, or rather as the young generation of this country, about where we stand and where we think we are heading on with the little knowledge that we have and the little reforms we think if they are implemented in the current regime, or rather the government, things are going to work out for all of us. Yeah, I think one of us shared that is what we're going to
Exactly.
exemplify
And of
today.
course, to start with, in this coming, or rather, the political temperature are kind of high. And I want us to, to specifically talk about the issue, the youth in this coming election and in governance. Because previously we have been told that the youths are the future leader of this nation. But actually, that future has never come into pass. And now, again, what do you think the role of the youths in this governance or in the coming election? Bwana Abraham.
For as much as politics is concerned and as much as a young voter, I'm concerned, I think our role as young men and women in this country is to elect what we would believe is a government that is going to bring change. And when we talk about change, it has been an abused term. And I think since the conception of this country to where we are today, how many years since independence? More than
60 years.
over 60 years. But we have been repeating the same things each and every time election comes around. Talking about the young generation being the future leader, the young generation being the future leader, something that has not yet come into reality. It has not been proved. We have not been given a part in the government for as much as it's concerned. And I think, Mashera, I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when we talk about young people, I don't know what people understand by the term young people.
According to my perspective, these are people who are aged, according to the constitution, they define the youth as somebody who is between the age of 18 years and 33 something years, if I'm not wrong. But that is right between the age of 18 and 30.
The fact that we know a young person is at the age of 18 to 30 to 35, or rather, I would like to be corrected if I'm wrong. How many people in the government working in offices that can cause change? You know, when you talk about change, it can only be caused someone in a major or someone in a major office, even someone in a cabinet secretary or rather a minister. That is someone who has the power enough to make a change. And so far, since independence, we have not had anyone, any young man with the power, leave alone the power, the support. Okay, you can be given power. It has been given for as much as I know. We have Babu, we cannot say he's not a young person. But Babu has not done anything major, leave alone to come and jump and talk about university. Where was he when the government came out with the idea of scholarships that is now hunting down young and killing the dreams of young people? Where do we stand as a nation? Where do we stand as young people? If the people we think they're going to fight for our needs are not fighting for the needs of the young people. That's what I'm saying.
So in short, you're saying Baba Wino is
I'm not throwing shades on people. I'm not throwing shades on people. What I'm saying is that the idea of a young generation working is something that has not been achieved. And that being a fact, I don't know if even me standing in a polling station and voting in a young person, if that is going to bring any change. What I think needs to be changed is the mindset. We have a mindset, even as young people. Corruption is like our daily bread.
So you're saying, to cut you short, you're saying that for those young voters, or rather, those youths that are yearning for positions, just because they're young, or rather, some of the sort, because there's a notion that because the older generation have failed to bring change, then it's time for the youth to occupy those offices and bring the change that they're advocating for
Bwana
in those
Mashera,
particular offices. Are you disputing this?
I'm not saying that we should, that is rocket science. That's what you're saying is rocket. It cannot happen. You cannot just remove you cannot remove CS Murkomen from where he is and then pick a boy from anywhere and then place him there. I think that is going to be rocket science.
Are you saying we have incompetent?
What I'm saying is that we have
young people?
incompetent, not even young people, incompetent people of the state of this country. We are all incompetent in some way. The other day, you saw a video of someone saying corruption is bad when I'm not part of it. Now, that is the mindset of nearly 90% of Kenyans. How many times, Bwana Mashera, people have been giving out what we call hongos to Mulungula, to police to police officers along the road. All of us have taken part into that. Literally, all of us. We see our matatu drivers and conductors paying, and we don't act upon it. And whenever we act upon it, it doesn't go anywhere.
So what is the way forward for us to have competent leaders, people who will bring change, people who will liberate this country? What will be the motivating factor for the youth?
I think the motivating factor is the idea of education. To bring up a nation, to bring up a generation that knows what it means to be a citizen. That is what we are failing at.